Hello, Aquarius. Thank you very much for tuning into this week's read. For the main part of the read, I'm using the Morgan Greer Tarot, Supportive Oracle Cards, Energy Oracle Cards by Sandra Ann Taylor. Okay, what do we have for Aquarius? Things are like overlapping. Things are really overlapping. Okay. Things are overlapping a lot here. You're trying to work with something. It gets really, like... How do I talk about this? Because it's something that just seems to be... It's kind of like a background beat. Or it's kind of like, when you hear that washing machine in the other room and it's always there and it keeps going. You hear it thud, 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 thud every now and then. You know it's happening. You know something's a little off with it, but you're kind of like, that's somebody else's bag. I'm just doing what I need to do. Something is a little like, I'm just trying to deal with it. I'm sending like, okay, wait a minute, that sound is getting a little loud. Can you go check that out? Thank you. Cool. But there's always this side energy, just kind of like the sound going on. There's something always going on. And whatever that is you're dealing with, you try to be giving to it, but you're trying not to be the leader in that situation. Kind of like if it's the washing machine in the other room, that's not my thing. You're sending somebody to do it, and then you're like, well, if that's not right, well, then call somebody to fix it. And you're giving some direction, but you're not going over there to be a part of it. You're like, I got things going on over here. I'm fixing this. I'm building this. I'm doing that. I can't do everything. So that you can do, I'll do this. And you're trying to give direction and you're trying to help, but I'm getting like, what I'm first getting off is whoever you're putting this towards, whoever you're trying to get to help you, which it makes sense. You can't do everything. It makes sense to me. Like, you can't do everything. You're one person. But the person you're relying on to get this other thing done, and you're even giving them direction, you're like, go do that. Go do that. You're giving them direction even. It's not happening. They're just like falling flat. They're not able to do it. It's almost kind of like, well, get somebody to fix it. Well, look in the phone book. Find a person who fixes that type of stuff. Just look. Falling flat. Even when they look and they follow your direction, they can't find the right person. They can't seem to get the thing to come together. I'm getting this person is not able to handle whatever you're giving them. It may look like on the outside that they should be able to, but they can't do it. They're not doing it. It's just not happening. The Eight of Swords is telling me that they're just kind of crumbling under this situation. The situation is going to be a constant problem until you realize that. Because they're trying, but they're failing, and they're concentrating on their failures. Every time they make a misstep, it blows up in their head so much that they can't get around it. They keep thinking about it. Whatever successes they have, they're completely blind to them. Like you see the cups behind this person, they're completely blind to their own successes. They're so seeing failure here. They can't seem to do it. They're not communicating well either, is what I'm getting. Is it they're not communicating at all, or they're not communicating what they should be, is what I'm getting. Like, which is it? Like, either they're not telling you what's going wrong, or the way they're telling you things, it's just, they're not impressing upon you what's really going wrong. The Ace of Swords is their challenge card. It's not working. You're expecting this person to be able to handle these things, though. So when they tell you stuff, you just give them quick direction and you move on thinking, well, you can handle that. Just do that. Okay, I got to go. And you just kind of move on and do what you got to do. You're kind of like, it's not that complicated. Just do that. You're not thinking you have to micromanage and you don't want to. It just, to you, it seems very simple. You're like, well, do that then, and you move on. They're not explaining to you how bad something is. And they're not pushing their information forward strong enough. There's a lot of overlapping here, like, because there's a lot of problems that, like, they're not communicating well, but it's making things worse. The situation is having more problems. I'm getting you're heading for this moment with the base chakra. Like, the situation is going to have a big problem. It's going to have a big problem. And I feel like, to you, you can handle it. It's kind of like that washing machine. They didn't get it fixed. It didn't work out right. Finally, it's done. It's dead. It's not going to happen. It's just done. So you're like, oh, it's done then, huh? Can't be fixed? No, okay. Well, I guess we'll have to get another one. And you're just kind of like accepting it and moving forward. What I'm mostly worried about with this situation is like you need to realize that this person, they can't handle this level. Whoever this person is, how do you identify this? Because I'm getting like a situation is restarting because it's failing completely. Something is failing completely. It doesn't seem to be it doesn't seem to be like stopping you, like it's not knocking you out. It's almost like when this situation fails completely, it's like it's completely blocked, it's done. It's kind of, because when I'm seeing the base chakra, it's kind of like, well, that's not working anymore. Well, if it's not working anymore, we got to replace it because we need that. So let's fix it. Let's get something new. It's like a complete replacement is what I'm getting. The base chakra is like that's a base block. Like that needs to work. That needs to work. I mean, you can go down roads with that if you want to, but it's kind of like, all right, now that that's not working, let's fix it. You're blocked from fixing it, so you have to get a whole new one. That base chakra is telling me though that energy is not being fixed. It's kind of like someone having a problem with their legs and then getting a brace to work with it. It's not creating the nerve damage. It's not fixing the nerve damage, but it's kind of making something you can work through it. But that problem is just going to reappear. It's going to come back again. That brace will not solve it or heal it. It will just make it workable for that time. And that's what they're warning you against. This thing that you have to rebuild completely or create a whole new piece or replace a whole new piece, it's only temporary. You're going to have another problem in this situation because the person you have connected to it is not able to handle it. See, everything is muddled. There's a lot going on at once, and they're saying you need to come together with this person and really go through what happened and why. I don't think you're planning to do this is the thing. Because this is kind of coming in a little cockeyed, the Empress with the indecision. Like there's a lot of confusion going on here. There's a lot going on, and it's not like you really have the luxury of just doing this. But I'm getting, if you take a moment, and it would probably take a good hour. I don't know why, but I'm feeling like it might take an hour, which might be annoying in itself. If you really sit down and go through everything this person went through, everything they did to correct the situation, you're going to see that the reason that situation actually failed is because they handled it poorly. That machine, for example, if we're going to use that example of the washing machine, it should not have failed. The reason it failed is because they had the wrong people fixing it, or they tried to fix it themselves, or they didn't really get it fixed at all. And it just got to the point where it got so bad that it finally broke and could not be fixed because it got that far out of whack. If you drill it down, and it's going to take you like an hour because they don't want to let you know. They don't want to let you know. Just leave it at that. If you really drill it down and find out that answer, you're going to realize, oh, wait a minute. We shouldn't have this expense right now. Wait a minute. If you had taken care of this the way you were supposed to, we'd still have that same machine. We wouldn't have had that extra expense. We wouldn't have had to do that. If you don't do that, you're going to go through this a few more times probably. Where the same problem or similar problems just keep happening because this person that's connected, you don't realize it is what the thing is. I feel like to you it's like, well, it's simple enough. How can you not do that? But for some reason, they can't handle it. I don't understand why, because it seems to me very weird to me. Like it doesn't seem that complicated, but they can't handle it. For whatever reason, they can't handle it. If you want this to go better the next time around, if you want the next phase to go a lot better with the Ten of Cups and you want to be happy, it's drilling it down. If you don't drill it down, it's going to come in later because I feel like you like this person. I think that's the thing too. It's kind of like you do like this person and they're fighting to make it work out. They are. And they're fighting to do what they can, but for some reason they can't handle it. And whatever direction you give, they just don't connect with it. They don't get it. It's not happening. The thinking woman is telling me at some point this will have to be looked at. This will have to be figured out. The question is, do you want to figure it out now or do you want to wait and go through it again? The thing is, you're very busy, and that's the thing. Things are very complicated. Things are overlapping. There's a lot going on, and it just seems like it's unwarranted. It does seem unwarranted. That's another thing with this. It's kind of like, well, I don't understand why I'd want to do that because it's just a washing machine. How much do washing machines cost? Anywhere from $500 to $900, I'm guessing. It's been a long time. But if you have to repeatedly throw away that money, like if you think of it that way, instead of just like spending like 100 to 200 every so many years, it's like it can become a big expense, because this person, it's not only that they're not getting that up to par, but they can't add to more situations. There's something with this person. This is just also like, this is like the blinking light that says something is wrong here, by the way. That's not the only problem with this person. If you start drilling down and you find this part, there's going to be a lot more you find here that you need to find, because this is just the tip of the iceberg with this person. There's a lot more going on here. There might be something you really need to find out before you have even bigger problems, because today it's the washing machine. Tomorrow, what if it's the house? I'm just saying. This is something you want to deal with now. If this hits with you, they're saying it's not just minimal. It just seems minimal at this point. This is almost like, today it's the washing machine. Figure it out now and find out there's a problem, so you can find out what really the problem is deeper with this person. If you don't, it's not just that it'll be another washing machine. It could be like the whole washroom, or God forbid, the whole house. Like, I'm just saying, it could become bigger. There's a problem with this person. They should be able to handle what you're telling them, but there's a reason they can't. There's a problem. Like, I don't know if there's a stroke or some type of substance abuse or some type of just like anxiety that's crippling, and their brain shuts down and they can't handle life for some reason. They're going through some other problem at home or with another person that's distracting them, and they can't get their thoughts together. Something is wrong. And they're saying this is your highlight to figure out what's going on before it gets worse. All right. I'm going to shut this down here. I hope that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com, James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. Thank you.